welcome to another video. This is on my 9.3 again. So if anybody watched the last video, I fitted rear springs to it because the driver's side rear had shattered in 3 or 4 places, and I noticed when I released the shock absorbers to fit the springs that the shockers were up to no good. Basically ineffective, just worn out. This has been a tow car before I've had it, so it had a tow bar on it, so the rear shockers, engine mounts, and it's had a clutch in before I bought it. They're just all worn on it. It still drives alright, but obviously with new items on it's going to drive even better. So for this, it's basically, it's quite a simple procedure. You take out one bolt at the bottom, hold it to the axle, and there's one nut which secures it just behind that panel there, which is supposed to cut around to release the flap so you can get to the top of the shocker mount. Now I've spoken to another SAAB specialist who works on mainly 9.3s like this, and he doesn't recommend that because when you push the material panel back in, it'll lose its shape and it'll start to end up sticking out and stuff like that. So he recommends that you take the boot carpet out to gain access to it. Now you can either peel it back from the back end here by releasing this load lip area, plastic panel, 2 30mm bolts that fit down there. That comes out, peel the carpet back, but because this is a 5-door, you've got back doors in it obviously. I'm going to attempt to just peel the carpet back from here and gain access to it there because it isn't that far away, which will involve carefully peeling it back, releasing some 25 headed torque screws there that hold the carpet to the speaker grill and the shelf load, and I'm hoping to just gain access to it there. Right, I've got an assortment of tools, which hopefully this is all I'll need. So air gun, 17mm socket, air ratchet, wobbly joint on the 1/2 inch extension piece if I need to get it from the top with that, with the air gun, a long reach, a deep 16mm socket, pry bar, 16mm spanner, a pair of mole grips and a 25 torque screwdriver. So I'm hoping this is all I'm going to need, so we'll find out in a minute. Okay, so the first part, I'm just going to take out the torque screws on top of the speaker grill holding the carpet in. I've just taken 2 out. I'm hoping that's going to be enough for me to just release the carpet. So, just very carefully take that out. There we go. Right. Okay, so that's released from there. Just kink that over. And there we go. The top of the shocker, which is basically just one nut sandwiched between a large washer and a rubber bush between that and the bodywork. Right, so access wasn't too bad. So what I need to try and do now is just wazz it off with an air gun, which is wishful thinking because a lot of the time it starts spinning the centre shaft, and you normally have to hold it with a pair of mole grips. You can try putting a spanner on there, but a lot of the time the spanner just slips off because it's such a small fitting. It's like 7mm, something like that. So I'm going to give that a quick go now and see what happens. Right, before I wazz it off with a gun, I'm hoping to, I'm just going to put a little tiny bit of WD-40 on the thread, so if I just start moving it will assist it with working its way up the thread. There you go. See what happens. Oh, straight off. Absolutely fantastic. Can't see me taking that off, so I should just camera down there. There you go, all the way off. It's got a nylock type fixing on it, so the nylon section grips the thread, self-locking nut, and it stops the shocker working loose. So I shall just manoeuvre the washer off there. And a rubber bush as well, which I think may be fixed in place, so I'm not going to pull that too hard. Right, I'm going to do the passenger side. I'm not going to film that because it's basically the same as what I've just done on here, so after this you'll see me taking it off from underneath the car. Okay, to release the shocker, I'm just going to undo the bottom 17mm bolt, which I showed last time I did a video when I was doing the springs. That's that one there. Wheel straight out, goes into a cat-tail nut fixed in the axle there. Bolt comes out, wiggle the shocker out, might have to use a pry bar for that, which I've got when I prepared earlier. Come on. There we go. Right, so it pulls out of there. The shock absorber should just pull out the bodywork, which you can see at the side here. I've got the camera on it. Just there. Okay, there we go. There we go, it's down. Right. Let's have a look at that underneath now. Okay, back underneath the car. So the shock absorber is released from the top and the bottom now. So let's go underneath, compress the shocker with my hand. Okay, so just holding this dust shield, pulling down on that, shortens the shock absorber enough for us to pull it out. There we go. So if I just spin this camera around, I'll show you why I'm changing these. Okay, so this one, you pull it, push it, there's virtually no rebound on it. Just take the bush off. The reason the bush is because you don't get new ones with the new shockers, but these ones seem to be fine, so I'm just going to reuse these. Compared to the new shock absorber, push down on that. Comes out pretty quick. And these are SACHS, and I managed to get hold of these from somewhere on eBay because you can't get them. I couldn't get them anyway from our parts suppliers because they just don't do them anymore for this model. That's the part number for it. So this is with sport suspension because this is a 9.3 SE turbo with the 17-inch wheels. So it would have had the sport suspension, not as hard as an aero or a big one, I don't think, but these would be more suited to the ones with lowering springs like I've fitted to this, so that's what I'm going with. Right, so refitting the shock absorber is pretty simple. So we've got the bush in place. I put a little bit of grease on the thread to enable the nut to go on easier when I put it back inside the car. Just got to feed this up the hole, get the bottom bolt in position. Do the bottom bolt up, then you lower the car down so the weight of the car's on top of this shocker here, and then just put the nut back on top. It's pretty straightforward. Okay, that's the bottom bolt fitted. It's the same for the passenger side. I'm just going to release the passenger side one now, and then I'll join you back in the car. There's no point in watching me take the passenger one off, but it's exactly the same as the driver's side. Okay, we're on the final stages now. So, last part is just whizzing the nut up. So I've wound it on to the thread by hand. I'm just going to whack it with the gun and hopefully it's going to go. It's gone partially on, but the shocker's spinning round now. Right, that hasn't gone well because it isn't winding on with the gun, so I shall have to resort to gripping it, the Paramore grips, that little end piece there, and doing the nut with a ratchet spanner. So I'm not going to film that because it really is as tedious as it sounds, so I'm going to leave it at that at the moment. Okay, so that concludes the rear shock absorber replacement on my SAAB 9.3 old generation. I've managed to do it without cutting the carpets there and on the other side. This left shocker, when I put it back on with the air gun, it went straight down, no problem. As I said before, with the right one I had to use Paramore grips just to grip the top of the shocker, and then put it on with a 16mm ratchet spanner just to wind it to the bottom. Okay, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next video.